Hey everyone, welcome back. It's Gabby. Today I'm going to be talking to you all about how the pandemic has impacted my mental health and some of the things that I've changed throughout the pandemic and, well, I guess I should say because of the pandemic. Before we jump into this though, if you're not subscribed to my podcast, it's linked down below. And if you are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, definitely feel free to do so if you enjoyed this video. And for more mindful tips and mindfulness and mental health and wellness, tips and tricks, head on over to my podcast at Mindful Minute and subscribe so that you guys don't miss out on any of the episodes that I'll be putting out up there. This will also be up on my podcast. I'm killing two birds with one stone. So, okay. For someone like me who talks a lot about mindfulness and, wellness, I feel like I haven't really talked much about how the pandemic has really impacted me. And I feel like it's definitely been hard for everybody, but I feel like mental health really kind of I recently started seeing more people talk about mental health, which I really am happy to hear that, because not a lot of people feel comfortable sharing how they feel or sharing their thoughts and emotions, and I think it's really important, and I think that more people need to kind of, as you kind of figure out what it is you want, what it is you need, you'll definitely, find the things that work best for you, as I like to say. The pandemic started in March of 2020, and what really happened for me was that I had just had a performance. I was acting in this improv boot camp that my professor does, and my mom had came, and it was great. It was a great day. I had tons of fun. I got to see friends. I got to laugh about whatever was happening with my friends from the boot camp thing, and then I got to come home and just kind of spend time with my mom. And this was literally right before my spring break, and spring break comes around, and I really didn't get to say bye to a lot of people at my school, like my friends and things like that, because one, a lot of people were graduating. Two, we all kind of, just were like, oh, we're gonna see each other in the, for spring break. Like, there's nothing to worry about. We'll be fine. I'll see you next week, or I'll see you when we get back, or whatever, So I get home, and, the day's great. And then spring break begins. And eventually I get emails from my school that they're like, oh, we might be doing remote moving forward. And a lot of people here on my YouTube channel, you definitely heard me talk about how it really started for me. So then I'm like freaking out, because I'm like, what are we doing? What platform are we going to be using? What's changing, So that really stressed me out a lot, and that semester was kind of hard moving forward. But I'm not here to talk about my semester, and if that, what school was like during the pandemic. If that is something you want to hear, definitely let me know. You can send me a message at mindfulminute_ on Instagram, or comment here down below on my video and let me know what you want to hear and see next. But the more that we started having remote learning at home, I really felt like there was so much more that I was learning about myself, and a lot of it I was like, I don't like that. I don't like the fact that I constantly doubt myself. I don't like the fact that I constantly say all these negative things about myself. I don't like the fact that, I treat myself with less love than what I give to other people. And I was just like, this is not who I am, I'm genuinely just like, I just like to vibe, man. Like, the sign, just look at the sign. Because seriously, like, that's just who I am. I really just enjoy being surrounded by people who make me feel loved, who support me, who are just great company to have, who bring me joy. And I felt like I was missing so much of that in my life at the time, and I wanted to figure out how to fix it. So YouTube became a really big part of what I did during the pandemic. Also, I want to mention that connecting with other blind content creators became something that I really felt like made me feel better about how I was feeling internally, because I'm someone who internalizes a lot, and I don't mention it to a lot of people because it always goes back to, I don't want to be a burden, I don't want to do this, I don't want to talk about my feelings like that with certain people, you know? So I just kind of like hid it all away inside and just kind of said, forget it, like, we're not going to talk about it, we're moving on from it, whatever. But again, these patterns of like this negative self-talk and all the self-doubt and the way I would treat myself and, you know, things like that, I needed to change it because I didn't like it. And I felt like if I wanted to make a change, and if I wanted to be able to put content out here on the internet and, you know, on my podcast, I needed to take care of myself, and I needed to just kind of step away from things. And that's really where I felt like I had to turn to more people. And if you know me, you know I don't generally turn to a lot of people to like talk about things, but I became more vulnerable, and I kind of let down some of my walls, and I just kind of said, you know what, I need to allow people to understand what's going on in here and what I'm thinking and how I'm feeling. And that's where I kind of had to say, like, yeah, I go to counseling, but I don't go to counseling as often as I wanted to. And so the pandemic really changed my mental health, and it really impacted my mental health, because now where I am is such a different place from where I was whenever this started. Even 5-6 months ago, I'm in such a different headspace. I'm in such a different like mood about things. And that's not to say that there aren't days where I feel like crap, or where I feel like I just, you know, I kind of go back into those habits of like doubting myself, because it still happens. We're human. Those things are going to happen regardless of, you know, what you do. But I needed to just kind of like create a space where I felt comfortable, where I felt like I could just kind of, you know, have the time for myself. And so me rearranging my room definitely helped so much with that, because I was like, I want all the things. I want to decorate it the way I want it to be. I want to have certain things in certain places. And, you know, so many people that see this room and that come in here say it's like, it's just so filled with like a different like space, and it feels so light, and it just feels so vibrant. And, you know, that's just me, you know, I'm an energetic person. I like the things that I like, you know. And so the pandemic really had such a big impact on my mental health for a lot of reasons, because I feel like it was hard for me at first. I definitely did feel very sad, and there's still days where I do feel really sad, but I'm learning to cope with those things. It's like, I don't want to stay in the mindset of like, I'm gonna be sad, I'm gonna feel some type of way, I'm gonna beat myself up over things that I could not control. I wanted to be able to put myself out there again and socialize with people and reach out to people. And I feel like the pandemic definitely forced me to have to do those things again, because usually, and even without me trying to reach out to people, I'm just a self-reliant person. I do things on my own and I try to get things done by myself, and it gets to the point where I get so frustrated. Yesterday, I literally threw my headphones across the room because I was trying to connect to a new server to like record a podcast, and I'm like, sometimes I hate being blind, and I was like literally like hitting my bed. I was like, this is so stupid. Ow. I was like, this is so stupid. Like, why? What does that even mean? You know? And I had to. My mom literally came in my room and she's like, hey, like, you need to stop. Take a deep breath, and and I think even with my mom, I had to really kind of figure out how do I like be more vulnerable with her, because oftentimes I would come home, come in my room, do my stuff and just kind of like sweep everything under the rug and just kind of be like, oh yeah, how was school? It was great. Good. All right. See you later. And I wouldn't talk about how I was feeling. I wouldn't open up to her, and I wouldn't be vulnerable with her. But that had to stop, because she's a big part of my support system, and she means so much to me. And I feel like there's definitely times where it has been hard for me to like be like, oh, how do I tell people how I feel? Not just my mom, but anybody. So much has changed, and I'm really grateful that I was able to learn from being, this whole pandemic and everything. But I feel like now where I'm at is me just focusing on a better lifestyle for myself, focusing on how do I take care of myself, how do I, treat myself with kindness, how do I, take care of me and really be there for myself and show up for myself. A lot of the things that I've changed recently more than anything was just my eating habits. I feel like I've definitely tried to be more mindful about the things that I eat. And it's nice every once in a while to have junk food. I think this past weekend I definitely went a little too crazy with the junk food. So I told myself, like, this week you gotta get in the gym, you gotta exercise, get back into the things that you like to do. And so me kind of making things at home instead of spending a lot of money outside and getting things that maybe I won't even enjoy, so I buy things like, my mom and I get like the small peppers, and we like put them in salads, and we get like fruits, and we get different vegetables that I enjoy, because I'm very picky with food, and I feel like that's the hardest thing for me. And that was a big part of the reason why eating more healthy was harder before, because I was just like, I don't know what it is exactly that I want. I don't know what it is I like. So until I was able to figure it out, I kind of like, not to say that I wasn't prior, but I definitely wasn't as into it as I am now. So in the morning, I'm not a breakfast person. Just isn't my thing. I think growing up as a kid, I had like waffles and stuff for breakfast, that now I'm kind of just like, I'll wait until 11, 12 o'clock and I'll make a salad, or I'll have yogurt. And that's the thing, like, I even started buying yogurt, and my mom likes granola, so she does yogurt with granola and blueberries and things like that. I do yogurt, granola, strawberries, and a drizzle of honey, or whatever it is, just being creative and figuring out what works for you, and what you feel comfortable with, and definitely not forcing the process. I feel like that was something I also did a lot, was just kind of say, oh, I know that I like this, and I know that I want to change this, but I felt like I had to really build up to this point of, oh, okay, like, yeah, let's take care of myself, like, let me have those days where maybe I don't feel great, where anxiety takes over, where, yeah, I'm gonna have a panic attack, but how do I cope, and what strategies can I use? And so definitely figuring out what it is for me Especially being someone who, this is not to even sound mean, because a lot of people in my life know this already, but I've always been the person that people come to for a lot of their issues, like, oh, Gabby, like, I'm dealing with this, how do I fix it? And if you're a great friend to me, I'm definitely gonna be there for you, and I'm not gonna just push you away because I'm dealing with stuff. I'm just not that person. I've never been that person. Sorry, there's something in my eye. Ugh, God. Come on, eyes, what are you doing? Okay. But I've never been that person to, like, ignore somebody, because as a kid, I was bullied a lot, and so if I know someone's going through something and it's really impacting them, I want to let them know that they're not alone, because I definitely felt really alone and very isolated a lot, like more than people really know growing up. And to be honest, it still happens a lot, but I found new ways to kind of, like, not ignore it, but definitely not, like, dwell on how it impacts me. So what was I saying? Oh yeah, being, like, the problem solver. And I realized that in a lot of my friendships, past friendships for sure, because, your girl had to get rid of them toxic friendships. I'm just saying. In a lot of past friendships, I felt like when stuff would happen in my life where I needed a friend, or where I needed, someone to vent to, or whatever the case may be, those same people that came to me, running to me with their problems, when I would say, hey, I'm dealing with this, I wouldn't get those, that response, or I wouldn't get the way that I treated people reciprocated back to me. So I feel like it took me a while, but I definitely had to tell myself, like, you're worth it. And you're gonna have days where you don't feel great. You're gonna have days where shit just doesn't go your way, and that's just the way it is. But I feel like definitely not ignoring the people around me, but also knowing, like, what my boundaries are, and saying, like, I'll let you this close, like arm's length, and you gotta, like, tell people. I had to tell one of my friends a while ago, because she was going through some stuff, and I was kind of going through some stuff, and I was just like, she was like, oh, like, I need help with this, or do you have any advice? And I was like, truthfully, I love you so much, and this is what I have to start saying, and to anybody else who's in the same, like, if you're feeling the way I felt or feel now, then you'll definitely, like, agree with this point. But this is a big message that I want to put out there to people, just with your friends, your family, whatever it is, just be like, hey, I love you a lot, and that I'm always gonna be here for you, but I can't be here for you right now because truthfully, I need help as well, and so I had to really tell her that, and she's like, no, I understand. And just sending people positive vibes and letting them know that, like, yeah, I'm not ignoring you. Oh, this stupid bench keeps, like, sliding. Just be like, I'm not ignoring you, it's just I need to figure out what it is I need in this moment. I need to figure out what I'm struggling with, and just kind of, like, saying, if you really need me, I'm here for you. And just kind of letting people figure out what it is they need in their life. And I had to tell my friend that, because I'm like, truthfully, you gotta do you, boo. You gotta figure out what works for you. You gotta figure out those coping strategies. You gotta figure out, do I like this lifestyle, or do I wanna, like, better my lifestyle? Do I wanna be healthier? Do I wanna do things differently? And sometimes you just have to be a little forward with people. And I wasn't saying it in a rude way, because she knows that I'm genuinely here for her if she needs anything, but it was just a matter of, like, I'm in a funk, you're in a funk, we're all in a funk, and if I can't get out of my funk, child, I sure as hell can't help you get out of your funk, at least not right away. you know? And I just needed to figure out my own thing, you know, my personal goals, what it is I really genuinely truly want. And I feel like I have a pretty good idea, but there's one thing about me that I want everybody to know, is that my mind is always changing, and so is everybody else's, but I feel like I genuinely always come up with something new that I want to try, something I want to do, a new passion of mine. It's like recently I started picking up like painting and more arts and crafts things, because that became a coping strategy for me. It's like I would literally sit here on my floor and I have like in the corner a whole thing with Michael, I was about to say Michael Kors. I wish, a whole thing with like a bag filled with stuff from Michael's and just like canvases where I would like make random things and just listen to like some calming music, hear the birds chirping, and just kind of vibe out, you know? Put this sign on, got my butterflies on the wall, and I feel like the butterflies truthfully represent who I am now, because before I would have literally continued with my same old patterns, and I would have literally continued saying the same old things, acting the same old way, but I had to change, not for anybody else. I just did it for me. I did it for me, and I feel like I need to clap for myself. Because, yeah, there's gonna be times where I have to, or where I feel like people have their expectations of me, and people have, you know, these ideas of who and what they want me to be and what they want me to do. But it's like, boo. If you ain't rocking with it, don't rock with it. Keep it pushing and tell people, you know what, thank you for your concerns, thank you for your support, I'll take it into consideration, and just do you. Because I feel like so many of us during this pandemic forgot that we are so important. Like, you truthfully can't be there for people if you're not there for yourself. And I feel like I'm learning that more and more now, because I definitely still have things I'm working on. You know, there's still things that I think about, but at the same time, knowing your boundaries, knowing those limits of like how close you want to let people, how much you want to let people in, and how much you want to like give to other people. And if you know me personally, you know I'm a very giving person. I'll be there for you through thick and thin, but sometimes I just gotta tell you, I love you and I'm here for you, but I can't help you right now. Figuring out what it is you truthfully need, your goals, your dreams, your whatever. For me, it's about praying, and that's a very personal thing for everybody. You know, I know a lot of people are not religious, a lot of people are not at least very into praying and things like that, and there are definitely times where I do forget and where whatever happens, but I definitely know that for me it's about having people in my circle who make me feel, you know, definitely make me feel like they push me and they help me along the way. And I feel like those are the people I genuinely want to be surrounded by, are just like good vibes, positive vibes, confidence, comfort, happiness, and support. That's it. Like, and love. But I felt like I really just wanted to share this with you because truthfully, I haven't really put out much content on my podcast or the blog that I write for. I'll link that down below here on my YouTube channel. And if you want to check it out, if you're listening to this on my podcast, it's at Bold Blind Beauty, and then you could just type in my name, which is Gabby. And you'll find I have lots of self-care. I do a self-care Sunday kind of thing where I give people advice for the weekend, not just for the weekend, but things they could do for the weekends and how they can take care of themselves, because a lot of the people that I'm assuming that are subscribed to that blog are people who are older than me, who I'm sure have children and more things that they're doing. But I know that just from seeing, my mom and my family and people like that, I know that it's a lot of people just don't take time for themselves in their week or their day or their life. Yeah, check out that blog. But I haven't been putting a lot of content out on my podcast because it's just a matter of like, if I'm going through something, I want to be able to genuinely share those feelings and those emotions with you guys. Like this, it's like, this is what I feel, and I don't want to just kind of like spitball whatever just for the sake of it. But this is something that I thought would be a really good topic to discuss, and I definitely want to hear people's opinions. So hit me up on Instagram at mindful.minute_, or you can hit me up here in the comments on my YouTube channel, and let me know what you think, and tell me how has your mental health changed, or how have you changed because of the pandemic? And if so, like, what are some of the things that you're trying now, or that you're doing, or you feel like has worked, or what you've had to adjust to? Because I'm curious to know about people's experiences and thought processes during this whole thing. So thank you everyone for listening / watching. Let me know again what you want to hear or see next, and I'm hoping to do a live pretty soon on my Instagram. That again will be linked here on my YouTube, and again it's mindful.minute_ on Instagram. And we'll talk about some stuff, and let me know if you have questions, because we could definitely cover that in an Instagram live. So I hope you all have a beautiful rest of your week, and I'll see you soon. Bye. And remember, one thing I want to leave you guys with at the end of this video / podcast episode is to please, like, take care of yourself and treat yourself with kindness, because you do matter and you are important. Bye, my GABAbites.